Welcome you all to this video on mechanics of fiber reinforced composites. Myself, Dr. R.O.K. Julius, Assistant Professor in the Department of Mechanical Engineering of B.S. Abdur Rahman, Crescent Institute of Science and Technology. The reference followed for this video is Fiber Reinforced Composites by P.K. Malik. So, introduction. So, first of all, let us understand that the mechanics of material in general is a study on the stresses, strain and deformation in a structure that is subjected to mechanical loads or other thermal loads or other kinds of loads. So, when you want to design a component, you have to verify whether the component is withstanding the necessary stresses and strains that will be caused during the service of that particular component. So, for that we do with all these mechanic studies. So, in metals, generally when we go for steel or aluminum based materials, we consider the isotropic material property. So, they are homogeneous and isotropic, meaning is the properties do not depend on the location and direction. So, they are independent of the direction and the location. So, anywhere in that particular component, if it is made of steel, you test the strength, it is same, okay, in whichever location is same. That is the meaning of homogeneous. Now, coming to our composite materials, particularly fiber reinforced composite materials, they are not similar to metals. At microscopic level, they are inhomogeneous and non-isotropic, which means they are not direction independent. Okay, when you go for fiber reinforced composite materials, they are direction dependent. So, the fiber provides more strength. So, in that particular direction the strength will be more, whereas in the matrix dominant directions the strength will be less. So, that is a problem with the composite materials, but still for our mechanics studies we will assume these composite materials to be homogeneous and consider the equations of orthotropic elasticity. So, we know isotropic, anisotropic. Orthotropic means in the perpendicular directions, I mean in the fiber direction the properties are same, whereas in the perpendicular direction they show another property, okay, but in that particular direction it is same. That is the basic concept of orthotropic material, right. Now, we come to assumptions. So, in this study some basic assumptions are considered, that is fibers are uniformly distributed throughout the fiber matrix, which means the gap between the fibers are uniform throughout the material. Now, perfect bonding exists between the fiber and matrix. The matrix is free of voids. During manufacturing there is a possibility for voids. Any manufacturing technique will try to reduce the void. We assume that there is no voids, 0% voids. Then the applied force is either parallel or normal to the fiber direction. So, the load should be either along the, for this particular study we take this assumption, that is the load is either in the fiber direction or in the normal to the fiber direction. Then the last one is both fibers and matrix behave as linearly elastic material. So, these are some of the assumptions that we have taken for this particular study. Fiber reinforced lamina. So, first let us understand what is a fiber reinforced lamina. The lamina means a thin layer. So, when we go for fiber reinforced, long fiber reinforced composites, they are laid layer by layer. So, in one layer there will be fibers. So, that particular layer is called as a lamina here. So, first we consider a thin lamina with fibers arranged parallel to each other in a matrix as shown in figure. So, you could see that figure, the loading direction, that is the specimen direction or loading direction, let us take as x, and the perpendicular direction is y, but the fibers are not along the loading direction. The fiber can be at any angle, which means, so the angle between the loading direction and the fiber direction is called fiber orientation angle theta. So, we take this angle theta, which is nothing but the angle between the loading direction x and the fiber direction 1. So, in a 0° lamina, so in a 0° lamina the principal fiber axis 1 coincides with the loading axis x, but in a 90° lamina the principal fiber axis 1 is at 90° angle with the loading axis, right. So, this is the basic about a lamina. So, hope you understood what is a symbol lamina. So, based on this lamina, so this is a two dimensional. So, let us go to the next one. elastic properties of a lamina. Now, the basic elastic properties are Young's modulus E, Poisson's ratio nu, and shear modulus G. So, these are the basic elastic properties. Now, in isotropic material, the properties are same in all the directions. So, G can be represented in terms of E and V. There is a formula. So, hence there are only two independent properties. So, if you take isotropic material, there is only two independent properties, E and Young's modulus E and Poisson's ratio nu. In an anisotropic material, properties are different in all the directions. They are not direction dependent. So, in all the direction, the properties will change. So, it has totally 21 independent elastic constants. Now, in an orthotropic material, there are 9 independent elastic constant. Now, we are going to focus on this orthotropic material for this particular case. In a lamina, we take as orthotropic material. So, we have E11 Young's modulus along the fiber direction 11, E22, E33, shear modulus G12, G13, G23 and nu12, nu13 and nu23. So, these are the 9 independent elastic constant to be considered for a fiber reinforced lamina. Okay. So, let us take these notations. First, we have to understand the notations. The lamina properties are denoted by two subscripts. The first subscript represents the loading direction. Okay, first represents the loading direction and the second subscript represents the direction in which the particular property is measured. So, for example, you apply the load in the first direction, that is first subscript 1, and the value is measured in the second direction, then we call it as 1, 2. Okay. So, if you take for example, E12 represents the elastic modulus in the second direction due to the load applied in the first direction. E11 means loading direction is also 1, it is measured in the first direction. So, both the loading and the measurement is done in the first direction, which means E11, like that E22, E33, like that it goes on. Okay. So, hope you understood the notations. So, this is very important, first to understand the basic notations. Right. Next one, continuous fiber 0 degree lamina. First, let us, there are many cases here. First, let us take the continuous fiber 0 degree lamina. So, they are unidirectional fibers, as you could see in the diagram in the picture. There is a unidirectional lamina. Okay, the fibers are in a 0 degree, which means the angle theta is 0 here. Okay, so the fiber direction and the loading direction are same. That is x and 1 are same. Similarly, y and 2 are same for these particular cases. So, what are the elastic properties? So, longitudinal modulus E11 equal to EF VF plus EM VM. Here the fiber is same. So, the loading direction and fiber direction are same. So, we directly take E11 equal to EF VF plus EM VM. So, here we are using the rule of mixture concept. Young's modulus of the fiber into volume of the fiber plus Young's modulus of the matrix into volume of the matrix. Now, transverse modulus E22 will be equal to EF EM divided by EF VM plus EM VF. This is the formula for transverse modulus. Then major Poisson's ratio nu12 equal to V nu F VF plus nu M VM. Again rule of mixture principle. So, for 1 2 nu F VF plus nu M VM. Minor Poisson's ratio nu21 equal to E22 by E11, ratio of transverse modulus by longitudinal modulus into major Poisson's ratio. So, there is a formula for minor Poisson's ratio. Now, in plane shear modulus. So, both G12 and G21 are same. G12 will be equal to G21. So, for that GF GM divided by GF VM plus GM VF. Okay, using the volume fraction, we are considering this. So, 4 independent elastic constants are there. We are finding E11, E22, nu12 and G12. They are independent. All other are calculated using this. Okay. So, this is how we describe the in plane elastic behavior of a lamina. Now, here you have to understand that E11 is always greater than E22, because in the fiber direction the modulus will be more. Okay, matrix will be having lesser modulus. So, generally E11 will be greater than E22 and the fiber contribute more to E11 and matrix contribute to E22. So, matrix contribution will be more to E22 and nu12 is now greater than nu21. So, these are some of the thumb rules. Discontinuous fiber 0 degree lamina. So, look at the image, it is again 0 degree, which means the fiber direction and the loading direction are same, but they are not continuous, they are discontinuous, short fibers. Okay, when you go for short fibers, the length of the fiber varies, length to diameter ratio will come into picture. So based on that we will calculate the elastic properties. So let us see, a longitudinal modulus E11 will be equal to 1 plus 2 into LF by DF. Okay, length to diameter ratio. So 1 plus 2 into LF by DF into nu L VF divided by 1 minus nu L VF into EM. So this is the formula. Similarly, transverse modulus E22 equal to 1 plus 2 neta T VF by 1 minus neta T VF into EM. And in plane shear modulus G12 will be equal to G21 here also, that is also equal to 1 plus neta G VF divided by 1 minus neta G VF GM. Okay, where neta L there is a ratio, neta T there is a ratio, and neta G is a ratio. So using this you can calculate all the longitudinal modulus, transverse modulus, and in plane shear modulus. The major and minor Poisson's ratio are same as continuous fiber lamina. So the formula used for continuous fiber 0 degree lamina can be used here also. So this is about the discontinuous fiber 0 degree lamina. Next we go for random discontinuous lamina. So in a random discontinuous lamina, a thin lamina contains randomly oriented discontinuous fiber, exhibits planar isotropic behavior. So this approximately, okay, to some extent it will exhibit a isotropic behavior. The elastic properties are same in all the directions. So it's not direction dependent. When it is a random discontinuous lamina, whether it is a random discontinuous fiber or random discontinuous particles or viscous, whatever it is, they are generally assumed to be isotropic. Now the elastic properties are same in all the directions. So the properties can be calculated from longitudinal and transverse modulus of unidirectional discontinuous fiber 0 degree lamina. The formula, the elastic properties for this particular random case can be calculated using the discontinuous as a relation of discontinuous fiber 0 degree lamina. Okay, so for Young's modulus E random equal to 3 by 8 into E11 plus 5 by 8 into E22. Similarly, shear modulus G random will be equal to 1 by 8 E11 plus 1 by 4 E22, and Poisson's ratio nu random will be equal to E random by 2 G random minus 1. Let us go to the next one. Now continuous angle ply lamina. So as of now we have seen 0 degree lamina, continuous and discontinuous, then random lamina. Now comes the angle ply. So when the fiber is continuous or discontinuous but and is at an angle theta, now what we will do? Okay, so here the fiber direction and the loading direction are not same. So x axis and 1 are not same, they are different. So we find a relationship between the x and 1. So for that we have the formula. So 1 by Exx equal to, using the transformation principle. So here you know the trigonometric concepts, we use the trigonometric concepts and derive this formula. So 1 by Exs equal to cos power 4 theta by E11 plus sin power 4 theta by E22 plus 1 by 4 into 1 by G12 minus 2 nu 12 by E11 into sin square 2 theta. Similarly for Eyy, 1 by Eyy equal to in terms of sin cos G1 G2. Similarly 1 by Gxy equal to, there is a relationship. Poisson's ratio xy, nu xy, there is a relationship, and Poisson's ratio yx also there is a relationship. Okay, so all these are transformations with related to 1. So the modulus will be available for the fiber and the matrix separately. From that, using the volume fraction, we find the modulus along the first direction and the second direction. From there we will transform it to the xx and yy. Okay, it's only transformation, right? Go to next slide. Now stress and strain transformation, similar to the modulus transformation, we have stress strain transformations. So in stress analysis of thin lamina, it is necessary to transform stresses in the loading direction to the fiber direction. We have to transform it from the loading direction to the fiber direction because the properties will be available only for the fiber direction. So stress transformation equations are as follows: sigma 11 equal to sigma xx cos square theta plus sigma yy sin square theta plus 2 tau xy cos theta sin theta. Similarly, we have for sigma 22 there is a formula. Similarly for tau 12. So the strain transformation equations are as similar to the stress transformation. That is epsilon 11 equal to epsilon xx cos square theta plus epsilon yy sin square theta plus 2 nu xy cos theta sin theta. Similarly, we have for epsilon 2 to strain in the second direction and nu 1 2. Okay. So like that we have the stress strain transformation equations. Thank you for watching this video. So all these materials, all these equations are taken from fiber reinforced composites by P.K. Maulik. Okay.